I just spent over $2,000 on Temu to give my garage an extreme makeover. By the end of this video, we will transform my dirty, disorganized garage into a pro-grade shop. Or at least as close to one as you can get with Temu junk. We've got everything from floor epoxy, wire organizers, socket organizers, all new cabinets, honeycomb lighting. This transformation is gonna be incredible. Let's start unboxing. I honestly don't remember what I ordered. I just kind of blacked out and hit order on everything on Temu. We got our flake for the garage floors. So you guys have been kind of complaining for a long time of how messy the garage is, and we obviously live it every day, so we know, we've been with you. It's just kind of hard to set aside a full week or two to make this happen between all of our other projects, but we're finally doing it. All right, this is our epoxy rolling kit. I think that was like $60. That'll come in really handy. Okay, let's unbox our honeycomb lighting. This is a staple of like the real pro shops, right? They have the honeycomb lights on the ceilings and the walls. Oh boy, this is gonna be a fun one to put together. It's just a million pieces. There's so many pieces. It's all just, there's like hundreds of these that need to all get put together. That is the downside of ordering off Temu, is some assembly required. And that's gonna be most of our job, unfortunately, is assembling all of this junk. So this is part of our new storage solution. We got all metal cabinets. We're gonna get rid of a lot of this shelving and put it in nice storage cabinets, or I guess we'll see how nice they end up being. A little bit thin gauge metal, but that's to be expected with the Temu quality. Man, the assembly is gonna be a real bummer, I'm afraid. I think that's gonna take a lot longer than I initially had budgeted for this build. Okay, this is more of like a overhead storage cabinet that'll kind of go like that up on the walls there. Somewhere in here is a welding table, which I know Cam is really going to be excited about, so let's find that. It actually was a lot heavier than I thought it would be, so there might be a little quality here.
That's to be seen.
Yeah, we're about to find out. It's actually packaged really well. Still hidden.
Yeah, very hidden. Do something.
Yay. Oh, there's a tarp. We've been needing a tarp.
Yeah, we need one of these. I want to see the tabletop. That's what I'm most curious about.
So it's got a lower shelf.
I think I opened this upside down.
It is possible.
There we go.
Hey, that's at least an 1/8 inch thick.
Well, you know what? It is a welding table.
Hey!
We did get what we asked for.
I think this was $100 for that price. I don't know if you can go wrong.
As long as it doesn't warp instantly, or
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see how it goes once we start putting it together. That's when we'll really know.
Yeah.
How long do you think it's going to last before warping this 1/8 inch steel? That's the real question.
Seems pretty decent so far, at least for $100.
All of the hardware came out. That's very funny. This is the box I am most excited for.
But it's at the bottom of the pile, so I think we're gonna have to get to that later. We've got so much other stuff, but we've got to get to work. Step one, we're doing epoxy on the floors, which means everything in here has to get out of here, basically. This might be one of the most ambitious and least fun projects we've ever undertaken here. But the results are gonna be incredible. By the end, this thing is going to look amazing. We're gonna do drywall and paint on the walls. We'll do the floors. We'll have organization and storage. It's gonna be a real pro shop because we have some pro level builds coming very soon, and we don't wanna look like a bunch of disorganized amateurs anymore. We did it. Only about 4 or 5 hours and we got the whole thing cleared out. 2 years of junk accumulation and got it out. A blank canvas to do whatever we want. Hopefully make something really cool. Now it's time to go get the floor machine and grind the floor smooth before we epoxy them.
It is impressive how much stuff fit inside this shop.
Temu doesn't sell a concrete grinder, so we had to rent that. We want a pro level result, so we rented the pro tools, and we're gonna grind the entire concrete floor, so when we epoxy it, it's beautiful and smooth. Basically, this has a diamond tipped saw blade type thing that'll spin around and sand down all the concrete and make it nice and smooth. I watched a YouTube video, so now I'm an expert. Let's get it done. Actually, it doesn't seem too hard and it's moving pretty quick, but let's feel the floor and see how smooth it actually is.
Oh, it's actually really nice. That's gonna work.
I'm impressed. For 2 minutes, I'm happy. Now, let's just do the rest. When I was researching the concrete grinding, they said it takes about an hour to do 400 square feet. Well, after 2 hours last night, this is what we got. Our concrete is so uneven, it's not even close to done. So I'm gonna have to spend the next couple hours tackling this. It's not a lot of fun, to be honest. Did 6 passes with the grinder over 6 hours, and it's still not perfect, but we ran out of time on the rental. So this is what we got.
The concrete just had too many waves in it, and so these valleys, it was going to take too many more passes. So we've got the epoxy spreading kit from Temu. We've got the squeegee and the handle, the roller with spikes, these awesome gloves.
Temu really strikes again. The shoes that you need to wear to lay down the epoxy so you can walk on it came without the bolts. They want you to put in all the bolts yourself, and that is going to take forever. I'm really bummed about that, to be honest.
All right, I got my shoes on, almost just rolled my ankle. They're a little tippy. Now we'll go ahead and mix up the epoxy. It's a 2-part system.
So we got to put the vapor barrier down and then let it sit overnight, and then tomorrow we'll put down the actual epoxy. All right, the primer has cured overnight and it's actually solid, ready to put down the final layer. Turned out pretty good. A moth had an unfortunate landing zone last night.
And it is still alive, but it's caught in there.
Otherwise, floor looks pretty good for what it is. I'm a beginner on a rushed timeline. I don't have time to make it perfect, but it's gonna be way better than it was. For our final layer, we're gonna be doing polyaspartic epoxy, which in my research dries a lot faster. A lot of the stuff was saying it takes a week before you can drive a car on it. We don't have that kind of time here on a YouTube channel, so this stuff should dry in like 24 hours.
We're doing a gray epoxy, so we'll get this mixed up.
Epoxy is mixed, time to spread it. Got it spread out and it looks gorgeous. But now comes the big decision, to flake or not to flake.
Got this kind of like red, black, gray, white flake.
I don't want to do like full flake, because then it's going to be really hard to find bolts when you drop them. But I think a nice little spattering might look good. I don't have clear to put down on top of it, so hopefully it kind of like embeds itself in the epoxy. I could just leave it like this, but it's a little plain for the Rad Factory. Let's just give it a shot. I think it's gonna still be hard to find stuff when you drop it. Everything's gonna blend in. But I think we're just gonna go for it. Well, it wouldn't be the Rad Factory if we didn't have some insanely stupid problem. After 24 hours, the epoxy that was supposed to be fully set is still completely wet. I followed the directions exactly and it just didn't work out. I don't know what happened. So I think I have to completely scrape all this off and try again. They're supposed to send a part A and part B that you mix together and it hardens on the floor. Instead, they sent me 2 part Bs, so it was never gonna harden. It took 2 gallons of acetone and a lot of scrubbing, but we got all the junk epoxy off and now we get to try again.
This time I had to go with the Rust-Oleum from Home Depot, which I was a little skeptical of.
The floors are actually dry the second time around, which is awesome. Means we can start laying drywall. We're getting all the hard stuff done first, and then we can start having fun with all the Temu. The drywall is gonna be a huge pain, but the biggest transformation in this place. I know a lot of you guys don't like the logos on the insulation, so we'll cover it up, get it all painted, and this is gonna look like a beautiful shop. The drywall is done and looking amazing. Huge shout out to Jesus. Just came through and mobbed through it basically all by himself. Like, we wanted to help, and we would just slow him down. He was a wizard, just zipping it all in there. Took less than a day to knock the whole thing out. It would have taken Cam and I a lot longer than that. We're making good progress. I don't know if we're halfway there or not. Hopefully we're close, but let's start assembling some of our Temu junk.
This is one that we already kind of unboxed for the video.
So you guys know what's in here basically. It's just a bunch of cheap metal. That's gonna
Basically all it is.
IKEA together.
So these are kind of like the upper cabinets that are going to replace a lot of our ugly old wooden ones.
Honestly, for how cheap this stuff is, it all fits together pretty well. The fitment is great. Hardware is hardware. It works.
For Temu stuff, it's going to look infinitely better than what we had.
It's like little stuff like once you finally tighten the screws down, kind of crinkling it a little bit.
It's fine.
Yeah, look at this. Comes with a screwdriver and some white gloves so you don't get everything dirty.
You're not wearing your white gloves?
Nope. You guys know by now, I'm bad at wearing my PPE. These riv nuts they use kind of just pop into place and hold everything there for you, which is real nice. Every time I hold a piece of metal, I have to make it make the cool noises. Everything's lined up and it's going together pretty smoothly. One thing that is nice is these do actually have some struts. So doors will stay open.
They're spring loaded.
Yeah. And I'm the perfect height.
Nice. I mean, that's half decent.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, we'll see how much weight they hold here in a little bit, but
Yep.
it is double layered right here. All right, we've got 4 of those cabinet things.
We still have a lot of assembling, to be honest. Now time to assemble an exciting one. This is a rolling tool cart. I think it was about $80.
Let's see how it looks. We got the bright green color.
Doesn't have a bunch of rattles in it, so they didn't weld a bunch of loose metal in there, so that's kind of nice.
That's nice. Only 1-page instructions.
Guess it's that simple.
Guess it's that simple.
It's a little bit of slag in these threads, so they're not going in great. I feel like it should be a rule putting all this stuff together that I have to use the included tools.
It does make it easier to assemble it at this moment when all of the tools are buried, put away.
There it goes. Get to see how good their included wrench is now. Apart from digging into your fingers, it works pretty good. I guess it keeps you from dimpling the metal, so you can't go too tight with this tool.
Yeah.
Maybe that was as designed.
It's a torque wrench.
Yeah. Just go until you can't stand the pain. This is what could make or break it. Bad casters are such a pain, so we'll see how these ones are.
They don't look too bad.
They don't look awful. We'll see how they hold up over time. Oh, that's not a good start. Definitely starting to chew up our wrench. Look at that.
Not bad.
Stands up all by itself. Doesn't matter which way it goes on. It's not exactly square to the base, but I think I can just loosen up some bolts and get it right.
It looks pretty close. We got some hole pluggers. Final step, safety first. Got some corner protectors. Now it's done. It's got some tools in it. Let's go try it out in the garage. Ooh, it rolls. Oh,
I think it's
we
just...
could fine tune it.
Oh, look at that, I fixed it.
This is the Temu welding table, and it doesn't appear like we have to do any welding to put it together. We had a little rain last night, and we're out of storage, so everything kind of sat outside. The instructions are gonna be readable.
Yeah, they'll be fine. This was probably the worst packaged thing that we have tried to put together so far for this, but it's also the heaviest, so I kind of understand that probably got dropped once or twice in transit. You know, we could have spent like 20 grand on a Sigmund fixture table or something like that, but
Instead, I spent $100.
if it works for even a little bit, it's kind of worth it.
Anything is an upgrade over our wooden workbench.
So all of the hardware is supposed to be labeled in bags. When it showed up, this is kind of what remained of the bags. Our hope of putting all this together with the included tools has come to an end. Didn't come with any. Who would have thought that the $100 welding table wouldn't go together very easily?
No, the holes don't line up that good. All right, we got our shelf. That's probably gonna take 2 hands.
Yes, it will.
We may have lost some bolts in transit when those bags burst, because we've got 2 left and we need 6. Temu, what are you gonna do? One other critical piece of hardware we lost in transit is the nuts for our casters. They are mysteriously vanished. Not many welding tables you can just manhandle like that, so there's one benefit.
It seems rigid enough.
Official review from a professional welder. It'll work.
Some guys came over to tape and mud the seams of the drywall, and then they went to lunch and never came back. So I ended up having to do it, which is fine. I can do it. It just would have been better with pros. It turned out all right, and then it was time to lay down the primer, which ended up taking a lot longer than I anticipated to do 2 coats.
9 o'clock at night, we're out here painting everything by hand. We went to Harbor Freight and bought a sprayer, but some dirtbag had stolen half of the parts to it. So we get home and we don't have a sprayer. And they're closed now, so just putting in so much work for this thing. We were up late last night getting everything primed. It's looking really good. Then I went and exchanged the paint sprayer for the one with all of the pieces. Now we're gonna try and spray it. I am proud to present our newly remodeled shop. We got the gray floors, white paint over the drywall. This was an insane project that took an entire week on its own, but it looks amazing. We are done. We are ready to start filling with our Temu items. It actually looks incredible. So we kept it white for a number of reasons. A, that's the paint I had, but B, more importantly, for filming everything. It'll just make the lighting so much better. It'll make the colors pop. Probably get very dirty, but that's okay.
Dude, it's crazy how much of a difference it made. I don't even know how to put it into words. It looks so much better than it did before.
The amount of work that just took. It was fast for you guys on camera because that's kind of like the boring part, but that was a full week, full time with 2 of us, plus Jesus doing drywall. Like, that was so much work.
All right, we got to see how one toolbox looks. All right, we got the big boy. This one actually is going right here for our chemical storage.
Nope.
All right.
Still rolling?
Well,
Interesting. It does
might take those
bolt
off.
to the wall if we need to.
Assembly time for the hexagon lighting. It's a little bigger than it kind of looks in the pictures, huh?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Huh.
Might want to build this one inside, kind of where it's going to be. I think that might be dangerous to transport even 20 feet into the shop.
I think it's gonna look really cool though. It's gonna go on this side wall right here.
All right, final piece of the hexagon light puzzle. We're about to be a real shop. We just need a Lamborghini. Don't they always put Lamborghinis in the picture advertising these?
Oh yeah.
Hey!
That looks pretty cool. I don't know how much light it actually provides, but it looks pretty dialed. I'm happy with it.
Doesn't look super cheap or anything.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that cheap, probably in the $80 range. The only thing I don't like is the plug. Time to unbox the most expensive, biggest Temu Edition, the 61-inch workbench toolbox. This thing actually could be really nice. It was $700. I could have basically bought a Home Depot one or a Harbor Freight one. So we'll see how the Temu quality compares to the Harbor Freight one we already do have.
This cardboard's so wet.
It did sit outside for a couple of days. We got the wood top. Looking pretty good. Oh, there was some shipping damage.
Should have seen that coming, I guess.
Finally, time to unbox the thing that I am most excited for, our nut and bolt bin. It is always a huge hassle. When we don't have the right nuts and bolts, it's like 20 minutes to the hardware store to get one bolt. So we ordered the bin on Temu and then the nuts and bolts on a real website. Let's see what this thing looks like.
We got some more shipping damage.
I mean, it comes a long way. What do you expect? It's still a bummer though.
That is pretty legit. That's not bad. Hey, we got stoppers. That's pretty cool.
I think this was 230 bucks, which seems a little high for what I'm looking at right now. The tin is very thin and actually pretty destroyed.
Over here too.
Yep.
Of course, it will still work. It's just a bummer we put all this work in and have messed up stuff.
That's a little tall.
A little bit tall.
Our Temu toolbox is Temuing it right now.
It doesn't open. It just came locked and won't unlock.
Kind of a big deal. Kind of need that to open in order to put the tools in the toolbox. We got our upper cabinets all installed. They look really nice actually.
A little shaky on the install.
The metal building is tough because the joists are only every 4 feet versus a wood construction would be every 16 inches. So you have lots of studs to bolt to. We only have like 4 in the whole stretch.
At least if one comes down, they all come down.
That is true.
So it's like,
We might have to work on some under cabinet lighting.
I was thinking the same
Yeah,
thing.
it's gonna end up being pretty dark on the workbench right here. We did finally get the drawers to open, so that's nice.
Our main layout is basically set up, but now we have to actually fill the drawers, figure out the organization, which is the hardest part because it's the most important part. We need to be able to know where things are so we can just build stuff faster. That was kind of the huge problem with the shop before, is it just got disorganized because we didn't have space for stuff. We've done it. One of the more difficult projects we've actually undertaken, to be honest, but it's so worth it. It's gorgeous. What a transformation from start to finish. This has been 10 days of solid work. We have done one of the greatest transformations in the history of the channel. Let's give them a tour.
We replaced all of our shelving that was kind of old and grungy with a bunch of cabinets. So we have all of our chemicals in this cabinet. Keeps them nice and tucked away, looks a whole lot better.
So this one is from Temu. My only complaint is this door automatically shuts. If you let it go, it closes.
We'll try and give you guys some purchasing advice, what we do and don't like about our Temu products.
First impressions so far after we've loaded some stuff up in there, they seem all right.
It was about $350 for a set that came with the tall cabinets.
2 of our upper wall cabinets and then the 2 lowers.
So for that price, pretty reasonable.
Now we have our metalworking section. These cabinets were from Temu on a previous purchase. We have our retractable air hose and electric from Temu and our diesel heater from Temu.
Cam will give us a tour of our new welding station.
One thing with this welding table is you can just get normal clamps for them as well. So that'll be really nice to have.
These are from Temu.
Yeah, and so they'll work great, good enough for what we're gonna need them for. They do have a nice little rack on the side of it as well, which is pretty nice, pretty handy.
This was right around $100. We'll see how long it lasts, see the warpage of the actual tabletop.
So far for $100, it seems like it's worth it.
And then we have our toolbox section.
The red one was from Harbor Freight a few years ago, and the black one is from Temu. We had some shipping damage right here, which is a huge bummer because it makes this drawer a lot harder to get out.
And also putting it in too, it wants to stop right
Yeah.
there. And so you kind of just have to
Oh.
get it to close.
That is going to be kind of a pain. One thing I like a lot better about the Temu cabinet,
The click. So it takes a little bit to get it out, and then it clicks closed, where the Harbor Freight doesn't do that. And so if you're rolling this around, those drawers just come flying out.
So as far as recommendations on the toolbox, I'd give it a maybe. You are going to spend a little bit more at Harbor Freight or Home Depot, but you'd probably get a little better quality. One thing that is worth it is our honeycomb lighting. I'm actually really pumped on that. It looks good. It is actually bright. I think that's going to last for a while and really add some brightness to our videos.
How about our rolling tool cart?
So far, this thing, it rolls good. It seems pretty sturdy. Like I was cutting a bunch of wood on it earlier, using it as like a legit tabletop, and it wasn't flexing. I'm actually pretty happy with this.
I think that was right in the $80 to $100 range, so that one is worth it. One of the most worth it things that we did in this transformation is our nut and bolt bin.
So the bin itself, I think, was about $120.
Of course, that comes with no bolts. So I did spend, I think, $600 on nuts and bolts, probably thousands of nuts and bolts. And it'll just save us so much time and headache from having to go to the hardware store every time we need something. So that is really exciting.
Even the little Temu drill holder is pretty cool. I like it, fits the Milwaukee stuff perfect, and have our little charge station right there. I think that's nice.
One thing I will be curious about is how long it does last. I've seen videos of these cheap ones. You put a drill on it and it just instantly breaks. This one didn't, which is a great sign, but I am curious to see how long it lasts. I have a feeling this will be the first thing to go out of anything that we bought in here.
We're really excited to start doing some sweet projects coming up in the future in our brand new clean shop. What do you guys rate the transformation out of 10? Let us know. Thank you guys for watching. Stay rad.